What's up, everybody? It's your good friend Lukie, and this is my new YouTube channel. Please subscribe to help me. Look on the screen. Don't be a reoccurring viewer. Only 25% of the people watching these videos are subscribing. Hit the bell icon. Subscribe now, please. What's up, everybody? You've seen the intros. Go check out the Substack. Subscribe to the channel. All that stuff. I'm playing with the mic because why not? Tyson Fury is fighting Francis Ngannou. I did a poll in the community on this channel, and I listened. So I wouldn't have touched this, but people wanted my opinion on this fight. So what am I going to do? I'm going to respect y'all. You take time out of your day to watch me make videos in my podcast studio. You support my career in boxing enthusiasm. We won't call it journalism. We'll call it enthusiasm. So I'll do what is asked of me, which is make my opinions known on this fight. And my opinions are quite simple when it comes to this fight. This is the circus, you know. Tyson Fury, for those that don't know, is fighting a former UFC heavyweight champion. He left the UFC because he wanted to get paid more. He's coming to boxing. Boxing, you can get paid a lot of money if you're at the top of the sport. Sort of a cash grab, right? The fight's happening in Saudi Arabia, which means he's going to get paid. Fury has basically said that he's only fighting for money, essentially, right now. It's kind of a slap in the face of a lot of fight fans who wanted to see Fury versus Usyk, an undisputed fight. Heavyweight division sort of feels stagnant and irrelevant with all these big fights like Crawford Spence, Inoue Fulton, all these really, really big fights happening. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. This fight doesn't seem to matter nearly as much, at least not to me and to many others. Why is this happening, right? I'm kind of stuttering at words because I'm so, for lack of a better word, uninterested in the fight. But why is this fight happening? It is preying upon MMA fans who are naive, who have seen Francis Ngannou go in there and knock out extremely good MMA fighters, very talented fighters like Cain Velasquez and many others. And there's a belief, okay, this guy's a big puncher. We've seen him in these exciting UFC contests. Tyson Fury is a larger-than-life character. He's going to sell the fight well. Tyson Fury, even though he kind of looks like Humpty Dumpty at times, he's got pro wrestler-like antics where he's going to make people feel emotions about him. And people are going to want to believe Ngannou can land this punch on him. The level of mismatch this fight is ridiculous. I get that Francis Ngannou at one point wanted to be a world champion boxer and then converted into an MMA fighter. Guys who are high-level boxers like Deontay Wilder, who had won a bronze medal, and you can say what you want about his resume. He achieved a lot in the sport before he got to Tyson Fury. He's probably the hardest puncher in the division. He couldn't knock out Tyson Fury. Ngannou doesn't have the same pedigree in terms of boxing. He has boxed, but this is basically someone who at the best case scenario is extremely, extremely green, but could be fast-tracked into an 8-round fight for their first fight, jumping into a title-level fight against arguably the best heavyweight or a top 10 heavyweight of all time. It is preying on what MMA kind of grew in popularity, what Dana White and the UFC kind of played towards in the early to late, the late 2000, late aughts into the early 2010s, was the UFC is just more effective, it's better, it's more cutting edge than boxing. And at the time, boxing, you had very uninteresting visual content coming along with boxing. You had it hadn't caught up with the times. And the UFC had this brash new wave of putting together shoulder programming that was very compelling, telling the fighters' stories, kind of expanding on what Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya did so well in the build-up to their fight. They did that and built organic stars like a Dan Hardy. A Dan Hardy is a solid fighter, but a lot of people built an emotional connection with him watching these programs that really developed his story. Ngannou is a figure like that, although right now the UFC seems to have lost a little bit of that touch because it just seems to be they've fallen into a boxing mold of how can we crank out as much programming as possible as opposed to make the very best fights as often as possible with possibly one event a month. Now it seems like they're doing basically a show a week with a few weeks where they're not doing shows. That UFC boom was built on UFC versus boxing. The UFC is better. We've gotten away from that because I think that people have realized that that's a very stupid argument. Both jiu-jitsu fighters, kickboxers, boxers, MMA, martial artists, they're all pretty awesome. And if you put any fighter in a situation where they're not well trained, they're going to look foolish. I think this is just a great example of Ngannou can box a bit, he can hit hard, but he's going in there with a master pugilist who's really good at disrupting rhythm. What we're going to see in this fight is going to be whatever Tyson Fury, I almost said Francis Ngannou, whatever Tyson Fury wants to have happen is what's going to happen. Tyson Fury could go 12 rounds and not really train. He doesn't have to train to beat Francis Ngannou, and I'm sorry if that offends people, but the skill gap is so big. Fury can train for 2 to 3 weeks, and he's still going to beat this guy because he just knows how to move his feet and to create angles. Building into this fight, famous people are going to start to go, man, I've seen Ngannou, he hits really hard, this and that. There is going to be excitement as we get closer to the fight, but the problem is this is a levels fight where Ngannou's feet are not going to work in the capacity they need to for Tyson Fury. Can he catch him with a punch? There's like a 1 out of 100 chance he lands a big punch, but really, realistically, what's going to happen is Fury is going to fight him on the inside, dog him out, and then when he feels like he wants to stop him, he's going to stop him, and then they're going to do a bro hug in the ring. Fury's going to say he's the baddest man in the world because he beat the best MMA fighter, and then he's probably going to say a bunch of disrespectful stuff to Usyk, who hopefully Usyk is there in Saudi Arabia and we can finally get to that fight. Ngannou's going to sing the praises of Fury, and life will go on. The problem is this is taking away from an actual fight we all want to see, which is Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, which will crown the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis, off the top of my head. I don't think Vladimir Klitschko had undisputed. Might be wrong. Maybe Vladimir had it, but this soft, half-baked research. We're basically, and then let's go further than that. Tyson Fury is basically having 2 extremely irrelevant years that do not matter at all after getting that great Deontay Wilder win in the 3rd fight. So he has this historically significant knockout that would play in the beginning of like a HBO boxing type lead-in, and then follows that up with a really uninteresting Dillian Whyte fight, an even more uninteresting Derek Chisora fight, and a wildly uninteresting fight against this MMA champion, Francis Ngannou. After the Wilder fight, I had Fury as my number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. It's pretty hard at this point to justify him being in the top 5 because he's not fighting that level of competition, even though the skill set is there, even though I truly believe he gives any heavyweight ever in the history of the sport an issue. This is like Muhammad Ali versus Aoki. This is just, some gullible fans will tune in. They'll believe that their beloved heavyweight champion is going to land a big punch. He hits hard, and then they're going to realize, oh God, Tyson Fury, he's really good at doing what he does. And I think for Fury, this is also another way for him to get noticed by another group of people, where then he can parlay that into more money in the future. The fight's happening. I'll comment on it because that's all this channel is a bunch of commentary and stuff. But am I interested in this? Heck no. Do I care about it? No. Am I going to think deeply about it? Nope. And is the heavyweight division in a good place right now? Definitely not. So that's my thoughts. Leave a comment in the section if you disagree, agree, all that stuff, and hope to see you next time.